Everybody, please welcome my good friend, the very talented, the cult leader, Mr. Owen Benjamin. Thank
you very much. Yeah. All right. Give it up for Seamus and Eric Nimmer, huh? Good times. It's great to be here, man. Yeah, we had a show in Austin last night, but I had to get here for you guys. So we got off stage and just got in the car and just went. And I love being here because the South, people are still funny here and they're also nice at the same time. Like I had Eric sleeping in the back seat the whole time. I drove the entire time, just like, hey, what's your bumper sticker mean, bro? You know. I get intense. I'm like, war's not the answer, then what's the answer? But you guys are still funny, man. I had Eric sleeping in the back seat and I was getting gas and there's another dude getting gas. And I thought of something funny and I just looked and I'm like, yo, check it out. I caught one. I'm bringing him home. I'm bringing him home where he belongs. And he laughed. He got the joke. People are still funny here. And they're also nice. You know, it took us 15 hours to drive to Atlanta, and then I realized where the show was, and it took another 15 hours to come to a place called Buford that I never knew existed. So thanks for coming. I thought it was in Atlanta. I guess it's on the outskirts. And it's the way comedy is now. Fortunately, this beautiful theater let me do my hate speech here. You know what I mean? Thank you. So, by the way, if you ever want to really road rage on someone and make it stick, someone did this to me, because I knew it was my fault. It wasn't a big thing. It was a little swervy. I was getting fired up. And so I saw someone, I'm like, oh, man. And he comes up next to me. I think he's going to yell at me, which I am prepared for. That's fine to me. I got some guns ready to go with that, you know? Not actual guns. I realized that you guys are looking at me like, what you got right now, man? But he didn't yell at me. He just looked at me in the eyes and just gave me a thumbs down. I just drove away. I've been thinking about it for 11 straight hours. I just really want to know what he saw in me that he didn't like. I brought the carpet. No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah. People are really nice here, and I stopped to get gas, and I looked like a crazy person. You know, I had just done InfoWars, so I was fired up. Because Alex is like, bro, I'm telling you, China's coming at, you know. So I'm looking intense. I'm not wearing shoes. I'm 6'7", so driving, you know, I'm already just like this. And I go in, and this wonderful woman's just like, hey, baby, you okay? And I'm like, wow, he gave me a thumbs down, too. What's wrong with me? And she's like, let me get you a breakfast sandwich. What you want on it? I'm like, what can I get on it? She's like, anything you want. And they didn't have anything to put on it, but it didn't matter because she was giving me dreams. And then she said, bless your heart. And she was black, so I hear that means it's real. Like when a black woman says, bless your heart, it means like, bless your heart. But when a white woman says it, it either means bless your heart or she's being a cunt. But it's a wild time to be alive. There's a lot of weather this week. There's a big hurricane, and I thought we were gonna run into weather coming here, but it's pretty, it's nice. But I was watching the weather report because I love the weather. I love watching it, especially when I'm lonely. You know. Yeah, you guys know. You watch the weather report when you're a little lonely. You know, gets you a little horny. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's sexy. You know, when you watch the Weather Channel when you're alone, you know, it's like, thank you, Tina. On Tuesday, we're going to have that cold front coming in hard and strong. It's going to push its way in. It's going to wake you up in the morning. You're not going to expect it. A lot of moisture down south. It's going to get nice and wet down there. Then, on Wednesday, we have the rains coming in. We're looking at 7 inches, pounding us all night long. I'm at home like, what's the 10-day forecast? But of course, just like everything in the world these days, weather got politicized. You know, they got to everything. They got to comedy, then they got to sports, you know, then they got to weather. I'm watching the Weather Channel, a hurricane. How do you politicize a hurricane? They're like, this hurricane, how much of it was caused by Donald Trump Russia collusion? I'm like, I can't jerk off to this. They sound crazy. They sound crazy. They're like, there's temperature moisture inequality in the Gulf. And the Russians have hacked El Nino, causing all this racially motivated hate weather. And I'm like, dude, you guys sound crazy. We all know it's the Jews. I got a buddy who really thinks the Jews control the weather. And he's dead serious. And I was always like, dude, you're crazy, you know? And then I saw that, and I'm like, well, it's more likely the Jews. And one of my buddies was making fun of me for being on Alex Jones. He's like, oh, gay frogs. I'm like, bro, I've seen zero evidence for Russia collusion, but I did see a frog sucking a dick for honey smack. I heard even Google was politically biased. They even admitted it. When Trump got elected, there was all these Google executives just crying uncontrollably. Being like, we will survive. These crazy bastards. They already killed Jeeves. Remember Ask Jeeves? It's like, Jeeves is asking too many questions. Take him out. And I realized all my information comes from Google. So I couldn't even Google it. I'm like, I'm Googling, is Google biased? First hit. White people are Hitler. I'm like, no way. And that said, cut your dick off to be brave. I was like, it's such a funny time, because I was a World War II history major in college, so I studied in the Czech Republic authoritarian takeover. So like, I've always wanted people to talk about Hitler. Not like this though. You know, because having that history degree doesn't really come in handy. You know, I have buddies that are like carpenters. They're like, you want me to build your house? I'm like, do you want me to talk about goring? Like, I just, it's not a usable skill, but now everybody's using it wrong. They're like, that joke is hate. I'm like, no, it's hilarious. And they're like, you are literally Hitler. So now I just fuck with them. I'm like, hey, thanks, man, but not yet. Not yet, but, you know, your lips to God's ears. You know, I'm working on it. I got my guys. You know, we're following the plan. We're facing our problems head on, just like our guy. They don't know what to do. They know we don't like Hitler. That's why they say it. If we really liked Hitler, it wouldn't work. That's why I do that. They're like, you're a Nazi. I'm like, fuck yeah, you in? Are you on board? Oh no, you're not one? Fucking faggot. You know, they don't know, because they operate on shame. If you don't show shame, it's fucking hilarious. All I'm saying is Hitler did nothing wrong. I'm just kidding. No, I think it was a big misunderstanding, because, you know, there's a lot of misunderstandings in the world. Everybody saw this thing he kept doing, and they're like, that's hate. No, Hitler had a lot of black buddies, and they were doing this big international game where like these black dudes were like, rock, and he's like, paper, you know, and then the hippies are like, scissors. It's just a giant game of rock, paper, scissors. What am I talking about? I'm so sleep deprived, it's like insane. Here's the thing about Germany. Because after they did all that crazy shit, they just went the whole other direction. They're like, we're so different now. And everyone's like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, we love Jews now. They're the best. If you question the Holocaust, we put you in jail. Oh, we're so good. So because they were no longer allowed to say that anymore. So what did? They outsourced their anti-Semitism and brought in 4 million Muslims. They're like, oh, no way, they hate Jews. Oh, that sucks. Don't be Islamophobic. Let them do what we didn't finish. No way. Oh, yeah, you killed Ben Shapiro. Oh. You know, because I tried to get on board the Black Lives Matter movement, you know. I got a black mailman. He's good. He does his job. You know, and I realized how condescending it's been for the last 10 years, me being like, it's really good to see you still working, you know? He's like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, I know how you guys roll. It's good to see you at work. It's not fucked up. It's not real. I don't have a black mailman. Jesus Christ. Come on, man. The fuck? That's fucked up in literal nonsense world. It's all good, man. It's all good. But I tried to get on board Black Lives Matter, so I researched myself what hurts black people, because I don't trust people anymore. You know, because conspiracy theories, I get why people think this shit. Any of you guys have conspiracy theories? Did I just hear my buddy John? John, you here? Yo, my buddy from like kindergarten, we're really young. He's awesome. What do you guys have conspiracy theories about? I got a couple. What do you got?
Russia has CIA moves drugs.
CNN what?
CIA moves drugs.
CIA moves drugs? That's like wick. That's so it's like so proven it's a hack premise for a movie. Like that's obvious. What's that?
They made that movie.
The CIA made the movie? Hollywood made the movie about the CIA moving the drugs? Operation Mockingbird. There we go. No, the Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird. They took nigger right out of that book. That's what that was. Is that what you meant? Oh, shit. Sorry, Eric. But listen, I was born in 1980. Just hear me out, youngsters. This is why we don't believe shit anymore about anything. When I was a little kid, they said there was global cooling. Hand to God, they're like, global cooling. The world will become a snow cone. And we're like, what? They're like, get blankets. My buddy Johnny, who's 100% Native American, is like, fuck no, we're not getting blankets. No, but for real though, they said there's global cooling. You know, you gotta get blankets. And then what's up next? I'm like, so what should I eat? I wanna be really healthy. They're like, the Surgeon General, all the science has come up with the food pyramid. And we figured out that the healthiest diet is mostly bleached bromated bread. They're like, eat mostly bread, and then some veggies and some fruit, and then like almost no meat or butter or any of that shit, and you'll be really healthy. And then I was like, how do I be a man? I want to be a really good man. They're like, you want to base your life around a great man, a great hero, a champion? Check out this fucking Wheaties box. That's Bruce Jenner right there. That was my childhood. So I grew up there. Global warming. Food pyramid's upside down, and Bruce Jenner's a murderer who chopped his dick off and is now a chick. I'm like, the frogs are gay! So I try to get in Black Lives Matter, so I'm looking up what kills black people, because I don't want to be a hack. You know, I want to come in strong, like really impress my new friends. So I looked it up, and I didn't Google it, I Yahoo'd it. I checked a book, because books actually have intel in them, they can't rewrite the books. I mean, the Jews can, but they can do anything. So the #1 killer of black people in the world is malaria. I didn't see that coming. I'm like, malaria? What kind of numbers they putting up? 500,000 a year, malaria. Right now, 2018, 500,000 black people are killed from malaria a year. How they get it? Mosquitoes. I was horrified. I'm like, I gotta protect my buddies. So I'm like, I gotta help keep mosquitoes away from my guys. So I got my friends, and we all got a bunch of tiki torches. You know? Because it burns citronella that keeps all the mosquitoes away. So we show up in our best khaki pants and our tucked-in shirts. And we're holding our tiki torches. We're like, we're keeping the mosquitoes out of here. And we're fired up, you know? And the black dudes were like, what are you guys doing? And I got scared, so I hopped in my Dodge Challenger and I just took off. These movements, man, I'm not on board. I don't get it. You know the Me Too movement? They're like, hashtag Me Too. I'm like, bitch, I'm from the 80s. That's a pound sign. The pound Me Too movement is very confusing. All day long on Twitter, it's like, pound me too, pound me too. I'm like, lady, I'm a happily married man. But someone will give you a dick. Just stop being so aggressive about it. It's really weird. It's like, enough is enough, pound me too. I'm like, just get your dick. Get offline. I really did when I first saw it. I was like, pound me too. The fuck? I really did. That's true. What did you say? Oh, thank you. That's what I try to do. You know, according to leftist Hollywood, truth is hate, but not here in Buford. I have a lot more respect now for dudes with 2 kids that are kind of similar ages. Because being a dad is awesome. It's a great responsibility. But like the dudes with 2 dads, you like know that they have like really good dicks. That sounds weird. I get it. I don't have a lot of filter right now to like polish that thought. But just hear me out. Because when you have 1 kid, you know, when you're first with your wife, you have a lot of time and you can romance each other and you can just eat strawberries all day and listen to some Sade and see what happens, you know what I mean? And just nice and organic, you work it up and you just make love for hours. And then you find out she's pregnant and you thank God and it's all so great. And then you have a kid and then for the next kid, it's nothing like that. Because now you have a kid and kids get really fired up and you're always swinging them and just teach them stuff, and they cry a lot, and your wife develops this weird Eskimo ability of knowing 35 types of crying. Because Eskimos know 35 types of snow. My wife's like that with crying, you know, he'll cry, and I'm like, what kind of cry? She's like, annoyed cry, it's okay, let him cry it out. You know, I'm like, what cry is that? She's like, hungry cry. I'm like, gonna give him tits? She's like, yeah, I will, relax. And that's like the pain cry, oh, okay, and I get in. Because to me, it's all just crying. But when you have that kid, you can't really find time to have sex a lot of times. I never realized that. Like, you really do. Sometimes you'll just go a minute without having sex because the kid's always doing some shit. So you have to be one of those special op penis guys. Where, like, you could be eating a sandwich, just minding your own business, just thinking about why glue doesn't stick to the inside of the bottle or some, you know? And your wife's like, he's asleep. And within like 30, it's like killing Ben Laden. You're like, go! Because you don't know your window. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes he's like, my chute didn't open, boss. I'm like, come on, soldier! And then, you know, your waiter's like, go! And then you make sure you got some kissing in there, some eye contact, so she feels complete or whatever. And then you pound. And then the kid starts crying, and you're pretty close, you know, and you're like, what kind of cry is that? She's like, it's pain. I'm like, fuck him! Yo, you guys are awesome, by the way. This is a blast. I have a great brother. My brother's awesome. My brother gets judgy about weird shit that a lot of people don't get judgy about. You know, he's a lumberjack. And yeah, I do that shit when I'm with him. It keeps me not too much of an indoor cat. I try to stay in between worlds. Or like when I'm with like my actor friends, I'm like this like hate speech Hitlerian monster. Because I'm just, you know, unapologetically masculine. But then I'm with those guys because I have piano playing hands. I'm a queer AIDS faggot. But it's a good balance. So I was with my brother recently and he's just like, man, that guy didn't even back into his parking spot. Coward. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, he's not even prepared for what could happen. He's just pulled in nose first. That means he's gonna have to go reverse and then drive. What if there's an emergency? I'm like, brother, I don't back into my parking spot. He's like, I know. And it kills me. He also gets jealous of random stuff. He values cool things. But it's weird. It took me a long time to understand it. Like one time he was like, man, my buddy's going to jail for a year. You know him. We've done tree work with him. He's going to jail for a year. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He's like, yeah, a year. No rent, no bills, just fucking hangs out with his buddies, lifts weights. Lucky fucker, you know? Another time, just randomly, he's like 150 feet in a tree. I'm holding a rope. He's just like, man, I wish I was one-armed. I'm like, first off, way too real in this job, but he's just thinking. And I'm like, why? He's like, because one-armed people can't be handcuffed. I'm like, another time he was like, man, we're at dinner, and he goes, man, I wish I was deaf. Shit. I'm like, why? He goes, because they can talk through glass, brother. And I look over, and there's a dude outside smoking, and he's clearly deaf, and his buddy's inside who's deaf, and they're still talking, like, through the glass. You know, he's just outside, like, and his buddy's like, he's like, we can't do that, brother. I wish I could talk through glass when I go out for a smoke with my brother. I'm like, you can learn sign language. He goes, no, I can't, brother, I'm not deaf. I'm like, so let me get this straight. You want to be a one-armed deaf guy in jail? That's your dream? He's like, if I was one-armed, they could never fucking arrest me, brother. I'm going to play you guys a little music. Want to hear a little music? Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. One more time for Eric Nimmer. By the way, Eric Nimmer, one of my best friends, one of the funniest comedians I've ever seen ever. And he's been an opener of mine for years, like years. And then I faced this like bizarre racist accusations. And so I felt weird having a black opener after that because it felt like I was overcompensating. Like people would be like, oh, I get it, your opener's black. And I'm like, this is how people say it. So I called Eric. I'm like, man, I might have to replace you with a white guy. This is fucked up. I'm like, I got to really commit to this thing. All right, sorry, that was kind of intense. All right. You guys hear that? You got a little heat on there? You got a little heat? All right, so I was listening to this song on my 15-hour excursion today. And it's called This Land Is Your Land. And of course, now that I'm a tax-paying father, I realize it is communist propaganda that I never realized. So instead of just complaining, I wrote my own version. This land, it isn't your land. This land's just my land. Because I bought it, that's also my van. Go back to California or Manhattan Island. This land's just mine, you dumb hippie. As I was shooting my 30-06, I saw more commies. Their sign said Bernie, my sign said private property. They didn't read my sign, so I killed 4 more hippies. Suck on that, Woody Guthrie, you old commie fuck. I've always liked Coldplay. You guys like Coldplay? I always like the song Yellow. And I never, yeah, right, Yellow. But I never knew what it was about. It kind of doesn't make any sense to me. So I wrote a version of Yellow about something I like. Something I'm interested in. The Holocaust. So here's Yellow by Coldplay if it was about the Holocaust. Look at the star. It identifies all the Jews. Restricts all the things that they do. And they are all yellow. Jews and moved them someplace brand new. And it was called a ghetto. And my friend give it up for my friend Dolev flew in from Israel for the last part of the show. She's awesome, but you know, she's a Jew. And I was playing her that song, and I just saw a flash in her eye like, have you gone this far since I've been gone? What's that, bud?
Finish it.
Finish the beer? Oh, I thought you were talking about Adolf Hitler. I didn't write this joke, he did. He said finish it. I was just talking about Hitler. I didn't know he was talking about the beer. I thought he was like, take out the last ones that he forgot about. What's that, buddy? No, Hitler was a socialist. Awful human being. Yeah, National Socialist. The left never wants you to know that. They're like, so far right, he's a Nazi. I'm like, right next to Stalin, you old fucking scissor commie. All right. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was a great man and he did nothing wrong. This was Hitler when he served his country bravely for the second time. He ran on a hope and change platform. He did. He gave the Germans hope and he changed it into an apocalypse. Non-white people, we're totally joking. You know there's one black dude in here that's like, I fucking knew that shit. That nigga stole my bike. I'm just kidding. No, but the joke gets funnier because the next turns out that nigger's white. We have fun together, pushing boundaries. Because he was in the Marines, so you never know where Nimmer is. Like, I'm just doing my show, and he's just like in the ceiling, just like. I just don't think there's words you shouldn't say. I never call black people that, but I'm going to call Justin Trudeau that shit on Twitter. Yeah, I'm just showing you can't censor words. I have no interest in calling people that. I don't give a fuck. I just give a fuck about, because appeasement just means you get eaten last. So it's like, if you don't stand up for Alex Jones's free speech, they're going to come for yours. And before you know it, look at the stars. They identify the you. They just started with Jews. Now your flesh is jello. You get it. It's the South. You guys protect yourself. I like that about you guys. Up north, they're like, if you can't trust your government, who can you trust? Man, they're losing their minds. Holy shit. I just made a funny joke to this girl. She was like, would you, if you could go back in time and kill Adolf Hitler in his crib? This is a true story. They're obsessed with Adolf Hitler. It's fucking insane. If you could kill Adolf Hitler, I am too, but for way different reasons. She was like, if you could go back in time and kill Adolf Hitler when he was just a baby in his crib, like a newborn baby, would you be capable of doing that? I don't know if I could kill him as a baby, but I know I should. I'm like, well, seeing as you've had 2 abortions that weren't Hitler, why would it be harder to kill Hitler? And I think she's gonna laugh at the obvious insanity of that, and she's like, you're Hitler! I'm like, thanks, baby, but not yet. So I learned something kind of weird about the Beatles. You guys read about Paul McCartney? He was talking to People magazine. I won't dwell on the fact, but he was like, oh, me and John and Ringo, we used to just sit around and masturbate and whack off and touch our doodlies. I'm dead serious. And after they're famous, like the Beatles, it's one thing if you're like doing a dime, Like you're 8 years deep in a penitentiary and you just hear like someone whacking off and you're like, this is my life. Why'd I run over that woman and not cut my dick off and call myself Caitlin? Like, why am I in jail right now? But the Beatles whacked off together, and that shattered me. So I had to rewrite all their songs. When I find myself whacking off by myself, Ringo and John always comfort me. They will whack off with me. All right, that wasn't really planned. Eric, what was the other one we're doing? We did the... Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah. I don't remember the... I'm honestly, I'm so tired, I'm truly laughing at this shit right now. I wanna hold your dick. I wanna hold your dick. Let's come together right now over me. Yesterday, I didn't have to admit to myself I'm gay. I should have ended it with "Come Together." That was the monster. So here's a song for you. The song's called Canon in D. And women really like this song because it's really pretty. You know, they're like, oh, that's my song. They always do that. They're like, that's my song. What's that? It's a pre-wedding heart song? Wedding March. Did you play it? Are you married? Did you play this at your wedding? Really? You're like, that's for my day. That's for my special day. And you already have it all worked out in your head, and you see you walking down and you're like, yes. It's a beautiful song. People have even remade it. I love this song. It's been a #1 hit for like 1,000 years. And that's why it got remade by My Chemical Romance when they're like, when I was a young boy, my father took me to my wedding. You know, but women are awesome. I mean, you know, some aren't, I guess, sometimes. But in general, they mean well. They're just easy to manipulate because they mean well. Like, being married, I see what women want now way more than I ever did when I was single. Because when you're single, you think you know women, but you only know, like, a little bit, what they show you in the beginning. You know, that's like watching the first 10 minutes of a great movie. You're like, man, Shawshank Redemption was just about a guy who got sent to prison. This sucks. It's like women, you don't get the whole picture. You know, it's like the rise and fall of the Third Reich. You think it's awesome. I will stop eventually. I can't, it's just my friend from Israel's here and I can't stop fucking with her. So women just want to matter. Like, my wife wants to matter. And they don't need stuff. I used to think that you had to, like, do a lot of shit. You had to, like, make a lot of money and give them stuff. And I, like, last year I was doing really well. I was repped at CAA, the biggest agency in the world. And I'm with my wife. And I said that trans kids there's no trans kids, don't put them on hormones. And there was this big controversy. And then I got fired from my agent. And I looked at my wife, because I went back to tree work for a few months because all my gigs were like, cancel. And I'm like, yeah. And I think she's going to be mad. She's like, I love it. She's like, you're crushing. And I'm like, but we don't have any money. I'm making like $20 an hour. If my brother still keeps his arms, he's fucking crazy. And she's like, no, that's the man I want our kids to be. And I was like, holy shit, you guys just want us to, like, try hard at stuff. And no, it's true though. It really is true. I went from making a ton of money to nothing, and then we're now doing good. But, like, the whole way, she's like, just do you. That's the whole point. And I'm like, all right. Because women just want to matter. They kind of want you to bleed a little for them. I'm not going to lie. But advertisers know how to manipulate women into wanting stuff based on that good thing in them, right? That's why that song is played underneath everything aimed at women. It's like, this Christmas, give her what she has wanted all year. And women are like, what have I wanted? Show her she is the core of your world. Show her that you love her as much today as the first time you saw her. Show her with this double-hearted pendant thing. Two hearts welded together by Jane Seymour, who isn't a jeweler and is like, she's been divorced like 5 times. And it's like $6,000 and you're in a lot of debt, but your girl's worth it. Isn't she worth it? This Christmas, get her a Lexus and put a big red bow on it so your neighbors fucking hate you. You know Lexus is the same exact car as a Toyota Camry. It's made by the same people in the same factory. But since it has a rear view camera on it that you don't need because you know how mirrors work, it's $20,000 more. But you'll buy it because the person you love the most in the entire world is now associating her self-worth with this inanimate, overpriced object. Happy fucking holidays, bitch! I'm never gonna be super rich because at a certain point I would just start spending my money on really hilarious shit. Like I have a buddy with $100 million and he's not very free. Like money's one of many currencies, another one's time. And I'm like, dude, let's hang out. He's like, dude, I gotta work. I'm like, bro, you won a while ago. Like, tap out. I tap out every time I hit like 5K, I'm out. And he's like, I'm like, it's the best, it's great. That's why if I was like a billionaire, I would like right next to Best Buy, I'd just open up Pretty Good Buy. I'd just see what people did and just be like right next to IKEA, I just open up School for the Shit You Buy at IKEA. Like, I would do this song on national television for no reason but to laugh. I'd be like, this Christmas, give her what she's wanted all year. Dish soap. Get that bitch back in the kitchen where she belongs. And that's where she knows she belongs. Deep down inside. This November, when she goes off to vote, ask yourself, why in the hell does she get to vote? They didn't used to vote. Not that long ago. And then there was a vote to see if they could vote that they could not vote in yet. How the fuck did we lose that vote? Merry Christmas. I've been on this tour. I just did all of Texas, and it's amazing how many people knew this song. I wrote a song called Soy Boy. Do you know Soy Boy? Yeah. I used to do jokes about wanting a #1 hit album that people knew the words to, and I'm like playing Soy Boy. People are like singing along, so I'm like, this is fucking awesome. So here's Soy Boy, and please treat me like I'm Journey. Thank you. There is a man who's afraid of dairy, and he's proud of the fact his balls never got hairy. David Hogg. He can't get the D, cause he's got low T. Trump tweets give him PTSD, and he thinks that all men should sit to pee. It's time. He's a BuzzFeed foodie blogger, which means he's unemployed. And he's always pissy and a bit bitchy, cause he is bloated from soy. He's a soy boy, he's so annoyed. He's a soy boy, he feels no joy. A weak chin and soft hands and a lot of demands. He's got mammary glands. He says his cat is trans cause of all that soy. He's a soy boy and he's awful to be around. He thinks Sean King is black and Caitlyn Jenner is a brave and beautiful chick. His ankles are thick and he says shit like Colin Kaepernick should have been a first round. You guys don't know the fucking song. That's all good. It's that. Thanks, Dad. He's an ally to women. When he marches in the streets, pound me too. But don't drink with them ladies. He's Hillary on Facebook, but he's Bill in the sheets. Rape! He's a soy boy. He's so annoyed. He's a soy boy. He feels no joy. His gender is soy. His odor is soy. He's soy-cum-sized. And he's always pissed, cause he's a socialist. And he's awful to be around. I hope you get kicked out of college, cause I am sad. Thank you. It's a real powerful ballad. So that Yellow song, I'll do it. I'm not going to do it that insane way I just did it. I'll do the joke that I've done before. So Yellow came out. It's like, look at the stars. The real version. Look how they shine for you. And women and gay guys are like, me? Everything you do. And it was all yellow. And that doesn't mean anything, you know, because that could mean nothing. Does anyone know what that song means? It could be like a school bus or liver failure. No one knows. So I would have just made fun of that until I heard Chris Martin on Howard Stern admit that fact, because no one admits it. He's on Howard Stern. Oh yeah. And Stern's like, what's yellow about? He's like, yellow? I was trying to make me mates giggle. We were all in Wales watching the telly, and I was like, look at the stars, they're yellow. And they're like, all right, Chris, that made me happy. I know a lot makes him happy, so we wrote it down on a napkin. And then we recorded it, and then we play it out loud at concerts. But there's no meaning to the song at all. It's just a word, yellow. He's like a British Eeyore. He's the opposite of Jimmy Fallon, but they're both just as depressed. Jimmy Fallon's like, no man, here we're just fine, it's so cool. Like, what's up, man? He's like, you seem like a very happy boy. He's like, no, dude, that's great. That's awesome, man. He's like, I want to kill myself. Wow, that's great. Justin Timberlake's here. Anyway, so no one admits songs aren't about anything. I'll give you examples with the word yellow in the title of the song. Songs I like. Yellow Ledbetter by Pearl Jam is an awesome tune, but Pearl Jam doesn't speak English. I'm ready to admit that. Here's my impression of Eddie Vedder singing Yellow Ledbetter. On the ceiling, on a porch, once I saw her, and I called out, sir, call out, yeah, her, how about Hitler did nothing wrong. Here's a song with yellow in it by the Beatles. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine. If they actually lived in a yellow submarine, I understand the whacking. Like submarine guys, I know that, it's very close quarters. But not, Chris Martin admitted it. You know, if you asked Eddie Vedder, like, what's Yellow Ledbetter about? He's like, but not Chris Martin. You know, so I started listening to more of his music. And I noticed something fascinating about Chris Martin. Check this out. So this is a song that came out like 2 years ago. It goes, sing with me, white girls. It goes. You're a sky, you're a sky, you're a sky full of stars. I wanna give you my heart. Go back 10 years, same band, different album. Ready? Come up to meet you, tell you I'm sorry. It's the same fucking song. A little faster, a little faster. Tears stream down your face and I will fix you in a sky, in a sky. It's the same fucking song forever and ever and ever. They never change the song because the CIA knows we like it this way. His band was probably like, hey Chris, we got to write another song for the new album. And he's like, but people seem to really like that last song we played. It makes them happy. Not a lot makes me happy. Piglet, have you seen my tail? It's attached by a little tiny nail. Hitler did nothing wrong. I should name my Netflix special, Hitler Did Nothing Wrong. But see, that's called a paradox, because if you do that, it's never going to be on Netflix. Because it's funny. There's like 3 or 4 funny ones on Netflix. I'm not going to be a hater, there's a couple that are good. 95% is just soy garbage. It's like, Trump is deporting everybody. I'm like, I can't jerk off to this. Yeah, when you stop watching pornography, you find yourself being like, I could jerk off to the lightning. Because women don't understand balls, you know? Like your jizz, man. Like one time I just said jizz, and a girl goes, ew. It's time to turn that ew around because it's a we, it's a situation. It's 100 million sperm pressed against her balls all the time, trying to get out desperately. You know, like prisoners trying to see the sun, like, get us out of here. And the warden's like, there's nothing we can do. They're like, come on, we're dying. They know they're dying. It's like the Holocaust in there. Women don't know that. You know, they have 1 egg a month. 1, not 100 million, 1. Sits there alone 3 days. It's a big house in Beaufort with no neighbors. You know, it's like, ew, this is the projects. Get us the fuck out! It's called How to Love a Woman. Dress really nice, but at the same time look like you don't try. Listen like a woman, but still act like a guy. She make lots of money, but still have free time in your day. Notice her hair and her shoes, but not in a gay way. To love a woman, to be her partner in crime, to really love your woman, you gotta be 2 people at the same fucking time. Give her space, but at the same time make her feel needed. Be confident, but don't sound conceited. She is in charge, but still you make the decisions. just like a prince, but fuck her like you just left prison. And that's how you love. Hitler did nothing wrong! I made you clap for something you didn't want to clap for. You were so on board the song, I'm like, I can slip that right in there. There's a song called How to Love a Man. Feed him and fuck him, repeat until he's dead. I'll close on, someone wanted, is there anything else before you want me to go? Because I'm going to do the Men and Women are soundtracks. What's that, bud?
Rose is the worst human being ever.
Oh, the Titanic song? I forgot that shit. The first time I saw Titanic, it was in an all-black theater. Hilarious. They're like, nigga, don't get on the boat! It's gonna sink! It's gonna sink! The boat's gonna sink, Rose! You got so much to live for, bitch! They really yell at the screen. That's not weird, it's just true. It's fucking, they're communicating or something. Don't get on the boat! It sinks! If you really listen to the lyrics of that song, every night in my dreams I see you, I started watching this Titanic with different eyes, especially now that I'm married, you know, and it's Rose is the worst person who's ever lived. You know, everyone's trying to paint our guy like he's some sort of bad man. But you watch Titanic and you're like, okay, so she's a woman who goes on a cruise with her fiance, right? You know, people do that. How much is a cruise normally? $800, $900? This was $30,000. That's what the Titanic cost in modern money. It's $30,000. So this dude is like, let's do this, Rose. My fiance, the woman who's promised herself to me. I feel like this is going very well. And she's like, yes, she consented. She consented. She's like, yes. I want to marry you, and I want to go on a ship that you're spending $30K a piece for, because I'm all in. And he's like, are you sure? She's like, yes. So she goes on the ship, and she gets sad. Why? Why? Because she's too rich. She doesn't fit in with the other shiny people. So she tries to kill herself, but not really. But she tries, but not really. So the steerage rat comes up. And he sees her, this steerage rat, this filthy stowaway. It's like, Rose, don't kill yourself. And she's like, oh, thank you for saving me. No way, I was totally gonna do it. And so she fucks him without a condom. They didn't have condoms then. Every sexual experience was an uncondomed cruise ship fuck. So was it just a wasted, depressed one night? Already bad. No, sober, he's drawing her. Very sensually, very, you know, he's like drawing her. She's like, yeah, draw that shit for Instagram. So does she leave the steerage rat in his little cabin? No, she brings him to dinner with her fiance to show him off because he has a symmetrical face. So she's like, oh, no way, this is my friend. And the guy's like, something's wrong, Rose. Like, what's wrong? She's like, nothing. And so, long story short, just like the brothers will tell you, the boat sinks, right? And so what happens now with Rose? So she survives, she's a survivor, but her guy, she lets die. Right. So then, Rose is an old woman, is in bed with her husband. She remarries. Has children, did have grandchildren, long relationship. But according to Celine Dion, okay, so her husband is like, Rose, what did you dream about last night, Rose? She's like, you know what I dreamt about? Every night in my dreams, I see him. The guy I fucked 70 years ago without a condom on a cruise ship. I feel him inside of me every night. Every single night, I'm fucking that steerage rat in my head. as I promised myself to you. Even though I promised myself to another guy who killed himself. And he's like, it's okay, Rose. I've developed an ability to handle this, but just please tell me, I work really hard. I work so hard. I work every day. Please tell me you're not like hiding any wealth. Because I work every day. Please, Rose, please tell me you're not hiding wealth. She's like, it's funny you bring that up. I have a giant emerald. Well, you work every day. I'm just holding on to this priceless stone. This cold, meaningless stone that I could trade in for your freedom. And he's like, oh no! I can forgive that, Rose, as long as you promise me one thing, Rose. She's like, what? He's like, you give it to our granddaughter and not throw it in the fucking ocean, you selfish cunt! She's like, no, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm the worst. I've never done it like that before, that joke. Women thought it was romantic when Jack and Rose sank on the Titanic. Even though there was clearly plenty of room on the floating thing for DiCaprio. But he wanted to bail, so he let go. She said, hold on, Jack. He said, nah, I'm good. She was the craziest person ever. Jack would rather die an icy death than spend one more minute with that bitch. He's like, it's so cold, Rose. You have so much room up there. She's like, I know. He's like, fuck life. And that was the #1 romance movie of all time. So in your mind, you might be like, man, women are fucking evil. No, they're easily manipulated. Women aren't bad. It's how they should be for how we survive, just like men. Like, if women weren't the way they were, we'd be extinct. You know, because back in the day, we'd be in a cave and your girl has a baby and you're so excited, but now she can't hunt or gather because she has a milk zombie on her tit. So she's like looking to her man. That's why she needs a man to stay. You know, she's like, will you get us food? Please keep us alive. And he's like, I love you and I'm so proud of our baby. Of course, I'll do anything for you. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, it's the dead of winter. I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna kill me that woolly mammoth. And you're gonna have all the food you've ever wanted in your whole life. And she's like, and so he starts running and he's like, and he's chasing it. And he's like, I'm gonna kill you, woolly mammoth. There's nothing personal, buddy, but I need you to keep my family fed. And he's like, I should have brought shoes. It's all right. I don't need shoes. We're buddies right now. They're probably crushing. I don't even need a spear. He's like getting lost. He's like, where am I? He's dead. He dies alone. He made a lot of bad calls, so he's dead. So she's waiting for the food, but it never comes. You know, she's like, baby, I'm so cold and so hungry. Dead. They're all dead. High stakes living. Right, here's scenario #2. This is real. This really is real, our history. Will you get us food? The guy's like, yeah, baby, all the elders say not to eat these berries, but they're right next to our cave. Fuck ancient knowledge. Let's eat them. Poison, dead. They're all dead. Here's scenario #3. Will you get us food? The guy's like, yeah, of course. After I have sex with your friends and our neighbors. That's what I'm about. Now everyone dies. Okay, we stay on that path. We're gone. We're extinct. We're the dodo bird. Fortunately, there was one woman in history that had changed her heart. You gotta start appreciating that quality because it worked, right? She's like, will you get us food? And the guy's like, yeah. And she's like, no, take a map. Don't eat those berries. Who's that bitch? Right? And the guy reacted then just like we do now. It's like, why are you being crazy? I haven't even left out the cave yet. She's like, because I don't trust you right now and I need food. So get the avocados right down there and just bring them home. No, don't chase that thing. You're not going to win. Get the avocados and bring it home. And it's like, fine, I will. And then she lived. And her baby lived. And her baby had babies. And that baby had babies. And now they all have that genetic shift where they have something called soap opera music eyes. Where randomly, and nothing causes it, this will play in a woman's head for no reason. Just... and some's telling her something's wrong. Because men don't get that it's non-linear, because men are linear. We think in a straight line. Problem, solution, blowjob, just right down the barrel. Women are non-linear. Sometimes they have to figure out what's wrong. They don't even know. Like, you could be on vacation and your girl's like, oh my God. We finally made it to Hawaii. This is my dream. I can't believe you took me here, babe. Why does that wave look like that? Is that a tsunami? Baby, look it up, Google it. Is that a tsunami? Is that a tsunami coming at us right now? This is what's in a man's head from birth until his death. Why is there a T in tsunami? Are we supposed to say that? To tsunami. See it. So it goes on this. This is a fight, and this will help you. This will help you in fights because you're coming at different angles. I believe in truth, but there's different perspectives on it. So this is a fight between a man and woman with their appropriate soundtracks. Hey baby, how was your day? How was my day? Well, the fact you just asked me means you don't know. Because I guess you don't check in on my Facebook or my Twitter or my Instagram, because I uploaded exactly how I felt in a pretty powerful meme. But I guess you don't check in anymore. I'm sorry, baby. I'm banned from all of those. like permanently. You're so hot. Look at me. Look at me. You're so hot. I want to fuck you so bad. I just said on a bad day, and that's what you think's gonna fix it? Your dick. Why don't you say what happened? What did you meme about today, baby? Like, what happened at work? Oh, yeah. I don't want to fuck you. I just said that. No, I swear. Look at me. I don't want to touch you. I swear to God. What happened here? You don't want to fuck me anymore. What's wrong with me? You think I'm fat? You think I'm gross? You think I'm hot anymore? Since we have a kid, we're just like roommates. We don't even fucking. No, I'll fuck you right now. I'll fuck you right now. I'm gonna go. Look, I just said that. Oh, so you lied. You lied. Then what else have you lied about? Because if you can lie about that so easily, and I believed you, now I don't know what else is a lie. So just tell me, just be honest. What else have you lied about? Just tell me what else you fucking lied about. Tell me what to say and I'll say it. Thank you guys. I'm Owen Benjamin. It means the world to me that y'all came out. Good night. Get home safe.